hello, hello. Also, capybaras. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Capybaras are the best. I just saw, okay, I am living, today I'm living for capybaras. Capybaras are super interesting. They're super cute. Did you guys know that they are the biggest rodent in the world? That's one. Two, they kind of eat their own poop. That's kind of a whole other can of worms. But I just saw, but they're cute. They're still cute. You know what? I don't mind. I don't mind that they eat poop. Because they're adorable. But I just saw, and this is what I'm living for today. I just saw on Twitter a post with a video that said there's this like ultra rich community in Buenos Aires. So basically the ultra rich built a gated community in the area that was naturally like the natural habitat of capybaras in Buenos Aires, right? So they decided to convert it to this luxurious gated community. Did the capybaras care? No, they didn't give a shit. They came back. They came back and they took over that area again. And they were just like, give zero fucks. They're just in parks. They're just sitting there munching on the grass. And they're like, wow, this place looks really nice now. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the upgrade. And they're like, this is great. And you know, the best part of that video is that people in that neighborhood are kind of walking around and they're just like, they look so upset about the capybaras being there and they're like, whoa, you know, you can tell that they're like throwing their hands in the air and capybara's just like, I don't give a shit. The new old regime is back. And they're just, yeah, and they're just there like without a care in the world and they're like, wow, this is great. This is great. I mean, we were kind of concerned that you guys were, you know, telling us to leave, but we didn't know that you just wanted to renovate the place. I love what you did with the place. It's great. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm living for that video. You guys should check it out. Like, if you type in, like, if you go to Twitter and type in the ultra rich and capybara, or like Buenos Aires capybara, you're gonna see this. It should be a video from like The Sun or something, but it's great. Capybaras are awesome. I love your channels. Thank you so much, Holly Sherman. Hi, thank you so much. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Holly. I just read it Holy. Holy Sherman. But no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But Holly, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a good time on my channel. Okay. Chill cappy boys. Yeah, I know, right? Also, the other thing is that capybaras can like literally, they're like super friendly. They get along with a lot of animals. I literally saw a video of capybaras just riding on top of an alligator or something. I don't know if it was, I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. I don't know if it was an alligator or a crocodile. Who knows? But yeah, the capybara was just like, oh, this is great. I don't have to walk. It's awesome. Also, Thinvo, thank you so much for being a member for 9 months. Congratulations. Also, Fabian, thank you for the supa. You can't stop the invasion for... Well, it's not really invasion. It's just taking back their own home. For capybaras, for honor. Door swings open. Get out of my backyard. Joshua, welcome back to Even Angrier Mob. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Okay, so yeah, capybaras, it's awesome. I am living for this video. You guys should see it, really, like, I highly recommend. But all hail the capybara empire, yes. I love how the people were just like, you know, those people in the neighborhood, they're just like so upset about it. But it's just like, you guys started this. You guys came in and took over, and you thought you could just like turn this place into your gated community without like, you know, without us there. We're like integral part of it. And the funny part is that the city eventually like put up all those signs that literally say respect the animals, and it has like a capybara picture. So like you can't really touch the capybaras. You're just like, okay, well, they are here, they live here, they will be here, so you might as well. I don't care how much money you have, like they're gonna stay. Ah, that's great. Oh, this is awesome. I am living for this. The video is Capybara and the Rich. Yeah. It's exactly that. Yeah. I really love that video. Yeah. Respect animals. Exactly. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, hi, I'm FEARSONA. You can call me Sona, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills. And I'm here with another video about photographs with disturbing backstories. Usually I do, well, there's gonna be 2 photographs and 1 video. So usually I do videos, but today I do have, like, it was supposed to be 2 videos and 1 photo, but I couldn't find like a full video for the first case. And some of those cases, like, I've been wanting to talk about them because I've known those cases for a while, or about those cases for a while, and they are really disturbing. They're like pretty much 2 out of 3. So I have 3 cases today, and 2 out of 3 are still pretty much an ongoing investigation because they are unsolved. 1 of them is solved, the 2 are unsolved. Where are you getting these from? The Capybara videos or the cases? Or the videos, the scary videos with disturbing backstories? I mean, I just do my research, you know, like, usually the videos are available on YouTube, so I can actually download them from YouTube or from like news websites, and yeah, you know, just digging through the internet for those cases. And some of them, actually, one of the cases that I'm gonna be talking about today, I found out about this case from a Netflix documentary, because Netflix, you know, does a documentary on literally every case. Also, Joshua, thank you so much for the super chat. Started my new job as a graphic designer. Yahoo! Hey, congratulations! Congrats! I hope you do well. I hope you learn a lot, and yeah, just do your best. Okay. Fun fact: Sona isn't. No! What? Wait, is there a capybara with me? I would accept a capybara ghost. That would be acceptable. Yeah, but happy early birthday, Melissa. Oh, Melissa, happy birthday. Okay, so what do we have for this week? So before I jump to the cases, I just wanted to let you guys know what's in store for this week. So today we have videos or / photos with disturbing backstories. We do have a true crime case coming up to Patreon. So there's gonna be a case that I wanted to cover for a while. That's a case from Poland. It's kind of one of the biggest cases in Poland. That's just kind of like it always like re-emerges around summer because it happened in the summer. So every year it kind of, you know, I don't know, it resurrects from the archives and just comes back. Well, it is an ongoing case. It is an unsolved case. So that's, we're gonna cover that one. Well, the case is you might, like, some of you might have heard of it. If you're from Poland, you probably know about the case of Iwona Wieczorek, and that's the one that I'm gonna cover on Patreon. And then we're gonna have cryptid files on here on YouTube on Sunday. So yeah, a bit of a break from true crime, like after these 2 videos. I love how I say bit of a break from true crime this week, but it's not. It's really not. Like, except for, okay, well, the case on YouTube is gonna be cryptid files, but today I'm talking about true crime, and then on Patreon I'm talking about true crime, so it's not really a break. How does that make sense? I don't know. So extra Polish goodness, yes, exactly. It's just that well, because this case happened, well, the crime took place in the summer, like usually around this time, they just kind of, you know, start talking about it again, and I just saw like a video on it, and yeah, it reminded me of the case, so why not? Yes, cryptid files. There's gonna be some cryptids, I don't know. I don't want to give it away. Wait, did I actually put? Oh no, never mind. We're gonna be talking about the Jersey Devil this week. Never mind. I thought I put TBA. Like, I thought I was trying to be secretive and didn't want to give away what case I've chosen for the cryptid files episode, but I guess I did. I guess I have actually put it there. So the Jersey Devil. Okay, what's your favorite animal? That's a tough one. I like animals. I just like animals, any animals, like hamsters, dogs, capybaras, horses. I think dogs. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a dog person. Okay, you guys, are you ready? Wait, let me just, okay, let's get right into it. Let me switch to let me switch the music and let's go. Let's talk about some very disturbing photos and videos. Okay, so the first case is that of Tiffany Valiante. You might have seen the documentary on this case, like about this case on Netflix, because it's been a while. I think Netflix had this documentary for quite a while now, at least like a year or something. But yeah, so this case is very, very confusing, and it's very frustrating for the family. It's very frustrating for the local community of Tiffany's family, and it is puzzling. Like it still doesn't have all the answers, and the handling of the case by the local police was abysmal, if for lack of a better word. Okay, so Tiffany Valiante was an 18-year-old high school graduate from Mays Landing in New Jersey. She was known to be a promising athlete with plans to attend college on a volleyball scholarship. And then on July 12th, 2015, the Valiante family attended a graduation party for Tiffany's cousin. So this party was held across the street from their house. So, you know, like Tiffany's house was on one side of the street, and then they literally just crossed the street, and the cousin lived on the other side. So that's where the party was taking place. So that day, Tiffany seemed very upset about something, but when asked like what was wrong, she refused to talk. Like, she refused to talk about it. She refused to say anything. The parents were asking her like, hey, what's wrong? Like, you've been weird for the past few days, few weeks. What's going on? And she was just like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so then at 9:15 p.m., Tiffany went back home, and shortly after, her mom received a phone call from one of Tiffany's friends asking her to also come back home. So the mom was, you know, across the street. She was at the party, the dad was at the party, and then suddenly, you know, like Tiffany left the party, she goes back home, and then suddenly the mom gets a phone call from Tiffany's friend out of the blue, and the friend is just like, oh, can you please come back home? Can you please walk over here because something happened? Oh, sorry. And the friend sounded very serious. So Tiffany's mom, Diane, and her husband, Stephen, headed back home, and they found Tiffany's friend like kind of there at the house, agitated and screaming at Tiffany about something. And then they found out what it was. So the friend claimed that Tiffany had stolen and used her credit card without permission. So this was huge, you know, like, I think there was like this information. So why, like, you would ask, like, why would they believe this right away? Well, so in the past, like, few months or something, like a few months ago, or I don't remember if it was like a few weeks or a few months ago, like Tiffany actually did steal some money from her parents' account. So she actually took, or from her parents, I don't remember if it was like from her parents, account, or from her parents, but yeah, like I think it was like from the account. I don't remember well, but I'm pretty sure it was like from the account. So they were kind of suspicious. They were kind of like, oh, well, something is happening with Tiffany, you know, like, this is the first time she's done this. And well, in this case, like, oh, this is not the first time she's done this, right? Like, before it was like, oh, okay, this is the first time she's done this. She's, you know, taken money from us without telling us. And then this time she had stolen someone's credit card and was using it, right? So all eyes were turned on Tiffany, who immediately like denied the accusation. She jumps in. She's just like, no, this is not true. I didn't do it. You know, like, this is, she's lying, right? So the friend is sent away. But after the friend left, Tiffany confessed to Diane, like, she's talking to her mom, right? And she confesses to Diane that everything was actually true. She did take the credit card and she did use it. Later it came out, I don't know how it came out, but apparently it came out that she retracted the story and said that she only took the card. Like, yes, I had stolen the card, but I didn't use it. So the two, Diane and Tiffany started arguing, and at one point Diane left the room to call for Steven to come back in. Like she was just like, okay, well, we have to sit her down. We have to talk with her like as a family, and like, Steven, come here, help me out with this. But when they returned, Tiffany was gone, and it was like it happened within minutes. Like she was there, and suddenly Diane, her mom, leaves the room, comes back, she's gone. This was definitely like no time for her to walk out without a word. They needed to deal with the credit card situation. This was serious. So they start calling Tiffany's phone and texting and calling again, and there's no answer. Steven decided, you know what? I'm just gonna like go outside. I'm just gonna look around outside. Like she can't have walked away like far or something, right? Like she can't have just walked away too far. And if so, like, I'm just gonna jump into my car and like look for her. I mean, she couldn't have gone far. So he's like, I'll bring her back, don't worry. And this is still happening within a few minutes, right? So first he kind of went outside the house to look around for her. Maybe she was just outside. She just went out for some fresh air. Maybe she is just walking around the house to calm down. Like this is something that she would sometimes do. He soon noticed something on the side of the driveway. So there's the driveway, right? And he notices something on the side of the driveway in front of the house. And that was actually Tiffany's phone. That's why she wasn't picking up, because the phone was on the ground outside of their house next to the driveway. Like she just left it, she just dropped it, and Tiffany was nowhere to be found. So first he kind of like, well, I mean, he thought, okay, well, did she like drop it? Did she throw it? Maybe she's still around, but she wasn't around. Okay, so now that's unsettling. Why would she drop her phone here like that? Why would she? I mean, maybe if she was angry, right? But she couldn't have gone far. This is happening within a few minutes. So like, where is she? They had to find her right now. So they go out to search for her. Tiffany's uncle Michael also joins the search and starts driving around the neighborhood. Because again, they thought by this point, they're thinking like, okay, well, she must be kind of in the neighborhood. She was on foot, right? Like she was just walking, so she couldn't have gone far. We're gonna find her. But then as he is driving near the train tracks, which is like, the train tracks are located 4 miles from the house, so not that close, right? So he's driving next to the train tracks, and Michael is Tiffany's uncle. So he notices a bunch of police cars, lights flickering red and blue, officers walking around what seems to be a serious accident. Like something about this isn't right. And Michael suddenly gets this horrible feeling, but decides to, like, okay, well, I'm not gonna jump to conclusions. I'm gonna get out of the car and find out what is happening here. Because there's a lot of people, right? Like around the scene, like police, I don't know, like everyone is walking around. There's chaos. It seems like there's something serious. Like the scene is like taped, right? Like there's the crime scene tape, or not crime scene, but like, oh, I guess like the yellow tape everywhere. So he gets out of his car and he goes there. Oh, wait, sorry. I just saw it. The world may never know. So, okay. As I said, so he gets out of the car. I'm not dead. What? Wait, who? Me? Oh, no. Oh, you mean the girl? Yeah, so he gets out of the car. He goes there to ask, the police officers what happened. And they tell him that there's been a terrible accident. Someone had been struck by the passing train. And as Michael gets closer to the scene, he starts seeing blood. He sees a pool of blood. Then he sees body parts. And then he recognizes Tiffany. Tiffany was the one struck by the train. So the following morning, Tiffany's death was reported as a suicide. But none of it made any sense. Like, there are so many things about this case that don't make sense and they don't add up. First of all, the eyewitnesses. So there were only two. There was the student and the senior engineer aboard the train, right? They were the ones at the front of the train. They were the ones that would have seen Tiffany on the tracks, right? So at first, I know, right? Everyone is like, how? So soon? Yeah, like it was within, I don't know, like it wasn't that long. Like this is a matter of like half an hour or something. Maybe even less. Like as I said, like Tiffany disappeared within minutes and the tracks were 4 miles away from her home. How? But anyway, okay, so we have eyewitnesses, right? Like the engineers aboard the train. So at first they claimed that Tiffany, quote, dove in front of the train, end quote. So they couldn't do anything to stop it. Like it was just so sudden. They didn't see her. Suddenly, you know, she jumped in front of the train. They couldn't stop the train in time. But only a couple of days later, they completely changed their story. The senior engineer suddenly admitted that he didn't really see Tiffany on the tracks. So why did you say that she dove in front of the train if you didn't really see her? It was only the student engineer that said like, oh yeah, you know, she dove in front of the train. But even him, like the student engineer, he wasn't really sure about this. He was just like, well, I saw her and I saw something. I saw a body or, right? Like, oh, I saw a human on the tracks. Like he kind of retracted it. He was just like, oh yeah, I saw a person on the tracks, but he didn't like specify if this person was alive or not. If they were standing or not, or they were lying down on the tracks. Then there's other details, like the clothing that Tiffany was wearing at the time of the accident. So this is the last picture of her. So this is actually a picture from her dad's wildlife or video. I guess like it was a video, but I couldn't find the video. I'm not sure if it was like I'm not 100% sure if this was a video or just a picture, but this is a picture of her from, or a screenshot from her, of her from her dad's wildlife camera in front of their house. And this is the moment when she left the house, right? Like that's those few minutes when her mom left the room to call for the dad, and then Tiffany disappeared. So she is walking away, right? So she's, as you can see from the picture, she was wearing a headband, right? And she's wearing like shorts, she's wearing a t-shirt with short sleeve, and she's definitely wearing shoes, right? Okay, so here's the deal. At the crime scene, when her body was found, she was actually found barefoot. She had no shoes. She was without her headband. The headband was not on her head. And yeah, she's definitely, like in this photo, she's definitely wearing the headband. Also, she's definitely wearing, again, some kind of top, some kind of t-shirt, and a pair of shorts in the photo, right? So apparently none of these were on her body when she was struck by the train. She was found, her body was found dressed in a bra, sports bra, and underwear. The shorts, the t-shirt, they were not found on the scene. Like, the headband was found, but they were also like, okay, so mind you, it was Tiffany's mom. So like the, you know, the shoes and the clothing, her shorts and her top were never really like found. There was some kind of sweatshirt that her mom had never seen, and the sweatshirt was like also lying like somewhere like far from the scene, but not too far, like somewhere at the scene, but not too far. Well, somewhere at the scene, not too close, not too far. And then obviously like the shoes were not there. The headband was like also like pretty far from the scene. So how does that make sense, right? And mind you, as for the shoes, it was actually Tiffany's mom, Diane, who actually found Tiffany's shoes and the headband. And she found them weeks after the incident. And they were abandoned like 2 miles from where Tiffany's body was found. They're like super far. 2 miles. 2 miles from where the body was found. Also, so see how so notice something about the shoes. See how they are placed on the ground, like upwards? No one touched them before this photo was taken, right? And it looks like the mom even noted, like it looked like someone placed them there, like intentionally. They just placed them there. Okay, so toxicology report did not find any alcohol or drugs in her system at the time of the incident, in Tiffany's system at the time of the incident. So she was completely sober, like, because, you know, police was like, well, this was a suicide, and also she might have been drunk, or she might have been under the influence of some drugs. Like, I don't know, like they were jumping to conclusions, right? But then the toxicology report came back, and it was just not that. And, well, the shoes are suspicious. The headband is suspicious. They found, as I said, like, there was this sweatshirt that the mom said, like, yeah, I don't recognize this. Why is this sweatshirt? The sweatshirt looked new. The sweatshirt that they found at the scene, it looked new. But the mom was like, yeah, that's not Tiffany's. I've never seen her wear this. Like, this is not hers. Maybe it was like, I don't know, she got it from a friend or something, but this is not what she was wearing when she left the house. So what is going on? Tiffany's parents also noted that their daughter was pretty scared of the dark, and she would never venture out alone. So definitely not 4 miles from home and into the unlit area of the tracks, because it was pretty far. Also, it was pretty much impossible for her to walk 4 miles within the short time between her leaving the house and being struck by the train. But what if someone drove her there? Because there's this theory. So some people believe doppelganger? No, not really, because it's her. So there's this theory. Some people believe that if you manipulate the photo, right, like the photo from the wildlife camera, and you kind of adjust brightness in that photo, there are those, like, it starts showing those kind of weird white dots, like 2, I guess. So basically, a lot people believe that this shows headlights from what appears to be a motor vehicle that is approaching the house, approaching the driveway, and approaching Tiffany. So I don't know if it's, I'm not sure if it refers to the one, like the headlight from, like that's between her legs, like next to her knee, or the one on the right. But yeah, like this is essentially it. Like, oh, and she's looking in that direction. What if whoever was driving that vehicle grabbed her? What if it is really a vehicle and someone actually grabbed her, or or it was someone she knew and she got into the vehicle and drove away? So she could be running away from home and got harassed. Well, I mean, would she have run away from home, like, without anything, in shorts and t-shirt, without any money, and just throwing away her phone and stuff? I mean, yeah, maybe the phone makes sense, but, like, she didn't take anything. She had nothing on her. Unless someone helped her. Like, unless, it was supposed to be, like, she was supposed to be running away from home and someone was supposed to help her, but they actually killed her. So another weird thing about the accident side, the New Jersey Transit Police Department took photos of the scene, and they show this, like, large pool of blood at the point of contact between the train and Tiffany's body. It almost seemed like her body might have been placed there bleeding before the train struck her, because it was kind of, what they determined was that it was too much blood. Like, this wouldn't have happened, like, in this one place. It wouldn't have happened, like, at the, had she been just simply struck by the train. It kind of looks like, she was bleeding out before the train arrived and she was on the tracks. So another witness, a convenience store worker, later reported overhearing 3 colleagues discussing the case as a homicide. They said that Tiffany had been picked up by 3 people, 2 females and a male, taken near the tracks, where they ordered her to strip to her underwear and then threatened her at gunpoint. I have no idea where these people are getting this story. Like, maybe they know something, maybe they don't. Maybe they're making shit up, but well, at first, at least, like, this convenience store employee said, like, he overheard his colleagues kind of talking about it, but these colleagues later were interviewed and they actually denied ever making these kinds of statements. So I don't know, maybe they were just kind of making shit up, maybe they're just talking shit about the case, and yeah, like they said like, hey, this is not what we said, or like we never said this, or even if we did, like, oh, it was just, we were just like kind of joking around, like, I don't know. And then there's a couple of other things that were found at the scene, and well, let me say this. The evidence from the scene was not handled properly. None of it was handled properly. So first there's this axe. So so the New Jersey Transit Police Department had found an axe with what appears to be quote unquote red markings near the scene. They don't know if this axe is connected to the scene or not, or connected to Tiffany's death. But you know, it sounds like this could be an important piece of evidence. Like they took it in. Obviously, this could be a murder weapon. So again, an important piece of evidence, right? They fucking lost it. As in, it's missing. They lost a possible murder weapon. They don't know where it is. It got lost. Why? Who knows? They also found a knife. There was a knife. They also don't know. I saw pictures of it. I didn't put it in my slides, but there was a knife. Also with supposedly like some red markings, although I'm not sure. And apparently that one, they have it, but they didn't handle it properly, so no DNA can be taken from it too. And there was this like towel. So another piece of evidence, which is very important, was this towel that was near the crime scene. And it had like red stains, what appears to be blood stains on it. And they tested for those stains, like they tested the stains to check if it's human blood, if it has any connection to human blood, right? And it did. So it is human blood, and it was apparently like a male blood. But then they mishandled it. It got contaminated, so they couldn't test it again because they wouldn't get the results. Oh my god. They mishandled a lot of evidence. They, like, pretty much, not only that, like pretty much all the evidence in the case was either stored improperly, which again made it impossible to retest for DNA with like a better technique, or mysteriously when pieces of evidence just went missing. And how does that make sense? Oh my god, this case, like whenever I hear about this case, it just frustrates me. Yeah, the super incompetent. This was like the family was super frustrated. They were angry. They were just like, the police is not handling it well. They just took over. Apparently the train tracks were even though the town, like the jurisdictions were different, like it wasn't the town's police, but it was just like the New Jersey Transit Police Department, so it's a completely different department. And they apparently have, because it's the train tracks, they had the jurisdiction, and they didn't know. They weren't like, I don't know, like for some reason they had people who are not experienced with actual like murder scene, right, like a homicide crime scene. And they mishandled a lot of a lot of the evidence. Okay, so as for other notable facts about Tiffany, 6 months before her death, Tiffany came out as gay, and this apparently made, quote, some of the other girls in school want to experiment with her, end quote. And Valiante family, a lawyer, added that this, quote, may have upset certain girls and also certain guys, end quote. Then there's this mysterious text message. So a text message that Tiffany allegedly sent to one of her friends, and the text message read, quote, just answer yes or no. Should I do it? End quote. And some people speculate it was a message about her wanting to take her own life, and, you know, texting a friend asking for an opinion, like, oh, should I actually do it? Yes or no? Also, Fabian, thank you so much for the super. As a man in criminal justice, I am fuming. I know, right? Like, I fucking hate the cases where evidence, like very crucial evidence is like missing, mishandled, contaminated. I hate the cases when people just walk all over the crime scene. Like, they don't care that it's a crime scene. Like, there were a couple of cases where people would just go into the house, like random people. I'm not talking about police, detectives, or anything. Random people would come in, like John Benet Ramsey. I think they just, like, some people, neighbors, came into the house and cooked in the kitchen and cleaned the kitchen, and it's just like, don't fucking touch anything. An active crime scene, what the frick. Okay. So there were some rumors about Tiffany self-harming in the months before her death. Like, apparently when she was found, like the body was found and examined, apparently there were some wounds on her body, on her legs and her arm, like some cuts that were not consistent with the incident of her getting struck by the train. They were there before the accident, or before the incident, right? So apparently she was self-harming, but then when she was in family therapy, like with her family, and she talked to a therapist, the therapist said she was not suicidal. So even though she had some issues, she was going through something, she was not, like, according to the therapist, I don't know how good this therapist was, but according to that therapist, she was not thinking of taking her own life. So this was definitely out of the blue. And again, it sucks. The police department absolutely sucks for mishandling so many pieces of evidence and just, I don't know, losing the axe. Like, I have no words. Crime show wouldn't be realistic. Please, okay, like, excuse me, our daughter died. Doesn't help that a theory I had was correct and we got the wrong guy for a crime too today. Jesus. Maybe she was being harassed and hid it even before this, and by fortune met them. Yeah, like, it's possible. Like, that's one of the theories. Like, oh, some people at her school didn't like that she came out as gay, and they were like, she had some, like, it was very clear to her parents that she was struggling with something in the weeks and months prior to her death, but she never told them, like, what it was. They assumed that it was because of, you know, like, oh, like, at least her previous struggle was, oh, because of the whole, like, coming out situation, like, she was preparing to come out, right? And then she came out, and then, but it didn't change, right? So she never changed. Like, oh, the parents thought, like, oh, well, this was the issues. Like, she was just struggling with herself. You know, she was just nervous about coming out, and, well, now it's okay, right? But she never changed. She still seemed like she was struggling. So maybe this time it was because some people at her school didn't like the fact that she was gay, and I have no idea. Well, that's what the lawyer said, right? Like, quote, may have upset certain girls and also certain guys. Like, her coming out may have upset some people. Who knows? Any gangs in that area? Not that I know of, no. If she was stealing money a lot and anxious, maybe she owed money to someone and owed the money that night. Like, I would have to dig more, because I think there was this whole new, this whole other aspect about, yeah, like, her taking money and, like, paying it to someone. I'm not sure if there were, like, any gangs. I don't believe I saw any, like, any talk about any gangs, like, or Tiffany being involved with any, you know, any shady people, but maybe, like, I would have to, this would require me to actually, like, really dig through the whole case, and yeah, maybe I would find something. Like, I'm sure I don't have all the information here. When does the credit card get involved? Well, it was just the incident right before Tiffany disappeared. So, like, oh, it came out that she had stolen a friend's credit card, but then she didn't use it. But the friend said, like, oh yeah, she used it. Like, she spent money without my permission. But yeah, this case remains unsolved. Probably doesn't. Loan shark. When does she... Wait. Yeah, like, I'm not sure how does the money that she kind of took from her parents, like, what did she need the money for? That I'm not sure. Like, why was she taking the money from her parents? Why did she take that credit card? But then she claimed that she didn't use it, actually. So I don't know, like, she just took the credit card. Like, she admitted to that, but then she retracted. She said, like, oh, I didn't actually use it. I just took it. So yeah, the case still remains unsolved. I think the investigation was reopened recently, so maybe we'll find out something else. Maybe there's gonna be some new information. So far, nothing new. Okay, let's go to the next photo. So you may have seen this photo circling around. If you're kind of in different like true crime communities, you might have seen this photo before. It is I would say it's infamous. So looking at this photo, you can tell like right away that something isn't right. The girl in the photo looks pretty terrified. She's crying and she's holding her hands in front of her defensively. Her haircut is very strange. It's uneven, like as if she cut it herself or someone else forcefully cut it for her. And then, not to mention, like the location is not exactly Instagram ready. It looks like an abandoned barn that's already that's ready to fall apart any moment. It's in the process of like falling apart and disintegrating. So this is actually the last photo of 14-year-old Regina Kay Walters, a girl from Pasadena, Texas. The picture was actually taken right before she was murdered by the truck stop killer, later identified as then 45 years old Robert Benjamin Rhodes. So Robert Benjamin Rhodes was this long-haul truck driver who, as it turns out, roamed the highways of the United States using his occupation as a cover for his gruesome crimes. Robert is suspected of murdering and torturing numerous women over several years, and one of his victims was Regina. Regina disappeared in February 1990 while she was traveling with her boyfriend Ricky Lee Jones. The couple had run away from home and intended to hitchhike to Mexico, but they never made it. So somewhere along the way, the couple was picked up. They were like hitchhiking, right? So they were picked up by this truck driver, Robert Rhodes. But this had turned out to be a huge mistake, one that cost both Regina and Ricky their lives. Robert quickly overpowered the teenagers, murdering Ricky almost immediately after abducting them, and he then disposed of his body, which was later discovered like somewhere in Mississippi. He had other plans for Regina. He wasn't going to kill her just yet. Instead, he decided to hold her captive for an extended period. I'm not sure like how long exactly, but he decided to keep her for a while, right? And during this time, she was subjected to horrific abuse and torture by Rhodes. He had converted the sleeper cab of his truck into pretty much a torture chamber, equipped with like various restraints and tools and like implements. It was horrifying. And that's where he was like torturing his victim, Regina. So one of the most chilling aspects of the case is this like series of photographs, because there's more photographs. This one, the one that I showed you is just one photograph of, like, this one is just one photograph of Regina. There's more photos of Regina like during that time, and she, you know, with the short hair, and she looks she just looks horrified. She looks scared because it was being taken by her, you know, killer. So these photos, discovered later by police, show Regina in various stages of terror and despair. The most infamous photograph, the one that I showed you, depicts her with this like short haircut, standing in a barn wearing this black dress, which, by the way, it seems like black dress and heels, which it seems like Rhodes had forced her to wear. Her expression is I mean, it says a lot. She is terrified. And Regina was eventually murdered by Rhodes. Her body was found in an abandoned barn in Illinois, which is likely the same one seen in the first photo. The barn was not far from Interstate 70. In September 1990, the body was discovered by the police. So approximately 7 months after her disappearance, she had been strangled with a wire garrote, I think. That's how you say it, which Robert Rhodes had made himself, right? So he just strangled her. Robert was arrested in April 1990 in 90, I think, oh yeah, Jesus, wait, am I, oh yeah. So the body was found like much later, but he was arrested in April 1990 in Arizona after a state trooper found him torturing another woman in his truck. But you know what I think the crazy part is that this woman also like dropped charges. It's crazy. I'm gonna get into it a little bit more, but so the incident led to further investigation, during which the police discovered the photographs of Regina and evidence linking Rhodes to other murders. And there is between 4 and 50 plus murder cases that might be connected to Rhodes because of the nature of his job, right? Like he was a truck driver, so he had like a lot of opportunities to, you know, especially in the 90s, like there were a lot of hitchhikers, and he had a lot of opportunities to, you know, abduct someone. So there's there's likely between 4 and 50 plus murder cases that might be connected to him, but he was eventually convicted of only 2 counts of first-degree murder, Regina and Ricky's. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And why? Okay, so there are a couple of other, like a lot of cases that were supposedly connected to him. They didn't have enough evidence, so they were dropped because of lack of evidence. The ones that there were like 2 more. There were 2 more murders that were connected to him, and they had a lot of evidence. But the girl, like there was a girl and a guy. I think the guy's name was Scott. Jeez, wait, I didn't write it down. Why did I, Robert? Okay, let me check it because I'm pretty sure I forgot to write it down. So one was Douglas Scott Ziskowski. So he was from Seattle, Washington, and then there was Patricia Candace Walsh, and Shanna Holtz. And I think like Shanna like dropped the charges because of like, oh, she was just afraid of retaliation. Like a lot of them just like, well, the ones that survived, I think Shanna Shanna still survived, but she dropped the charges. It might have been the one that was being tortured when he was arrested, but then she just dropped charges, so who knows. So he was eventually convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life. I mean, yeah, like I know it sucks that he will not face any charges for all those like 40, 50 other murders, but at least he is in prison. He is still alive, so alive and kicking. I think he's like 70 something. Well, hopefully not for long, like Robert Pickton. But, you know, as I said, it is very likely that he had committed, you know, more than just these 2 murders. Some victims were abducted by Rhodes, but somehow escaped and like declined to press charges, as I said. Pretty much like out of fear of not being, like 1, not being believed, 2, like of somehow retaliation. Like, I don't know, like they were just scared of this. So they dropped the charges. Yeah, like they declined to press charges. Well, not drop charges, like they declined to press charges. Like those victims, at least one woman definitely like declined to press charges because she was just like, okay, well, no one's gonna believe me for some reason. And yeah, he's rotting in prison now. Okay, and then the last case. So the last case is very, very confusing, and I don't know how. I have no explanation for it. Like, well, there are several theories. It is very interesting, but also it's another one of those unsolved cases that we might solve. Like, it might be solved in like however many years, decades. So this one is this is the last known video that shows the missing Belgian national Theo Hayez. Oh, sorry, not this one. Great. Well, this is one of the last ones, but so this is the last known video that shows the missing. What did I do? Okay. Wait, did I? Apologies. Oh wait, this one. I got the right video. So the missing Belgian national Theo Hayez, who was traveling in Australia on a backpacking trip. He had been in the country since November 2018, and he was nearing the end of his trip when he disappeared. The sequence of events and Theo's movements prior to his vanishing are bizarre, to say the least. The video was, Theo was last seen on the night of May 31st, 2019 in Byron Bay, which is this popular tourist destination in New South Wales, Australia. Theo arrived in Byron Bay 2 days earlier on May 29th, and he checked into a single room at the Wake Up Hostel in Belongil. I think that's how you read it. This place was the last stop on his trip. So Byron Bay was the last stop on his trip, and Theo was scheduled to fly back home a few days later. I think about a week later, he was scheduled to go back, like go get on the bus and go back to Sydney and fly home, right? But he never made it to his flight. On the evening of his disappearance, Theo was documented by the CCTV camera in the local liquor store. It's the guy in a gray cap, right? Theo was in the company of another person, a new friend that he had met at the hostel, Antoine Van Latham. And they were just simply buying some alcohol to enjoy their night. There's nothing out of the ordinary about their behavior and about this video. You know, they walk around the store, they buy some alcohol, and then they head back to the hostel. But later that night, Theo decided to hang out at the Cheeky Monkeys bar, which is located approximately a 20-minute walk from his hostel. Around 11 p.m., CCTV camera captured him leaving the bar, and that's the first video that I showed you, right? Like, that's this video. So he is leaving the bar and walking through the town alone. And so here's where things get weird. First of all, like Theo doesn't like walk towards the hostel. So this is the map, right? The hostel is, if you follow the yellow path from the Cheeky Monkeys bar, the hostel is on the left, right? So he doesn't go into the direction of the hostel. He starts walking in the opposite direction, which is the blue path. And it's very unclear like how much had he drunk that night, but witnesses at the bar who interacted with him said that he was not that drunk, like he didn't drink that much. And also, like, if you look at this video, like when he's walking out of the bar, this is the bar is on the right, he's walking out. He does not look like a person who's like super drunk. He doesn't seem to be like swaying on his feet or anything like that. Like he's just walking pretty like confidently and straight ahead. So that's very, very strange. Like people at the bar said like, no, he didn't really like drink that much. Maybe a little bit, but like he definitely wasn't drunk when he left the bar. Okay, so as I said, like he starts walking away from the bar, and at the time he was using his phone and he was sending text messages to his friends and watching YouTube videos. Mind you, in those texts, the friend said like, yeah, he sounded normal. He was fine. Like he was texting his friends, he was texting his family. He sounded completely normal. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Also, Jose, that's a very long walk. That's a super long walk. I'm gonna explain like what happened there. Really odd, super odd. Maybe he was looking for something to celebrate his last day, but alone? And it gets weirder. So he starts walking away from the bar. He's using his phone. He's texting his friends, right? He also is using I think at one point he starts using Google Maps, possibly to check how to get back to the hostel, right? Because he is a little bit tipsy. Okay, maybe he got confused. You know, this is not his hometown. This is a new place. Fine, he might have gotten confused. But even after checking Google Maps, he continues to walk in the opposite direction. He still continues to walk that blue path. Moreover, he was walking pretty fast for someone who had just left a bar and for someone who had drunk, possibly under the influence of alcohol. He is walking pretty fast, like as if, you know, I mean, you can even tell from the video that he's walking pretty fast. Like you can tell his pace is pretty quick. And this is like slowed down CCTV footage. Well, yeah, like it's kind of glitchy, right? But he is walking pretty fast. Okay, so he is walking fast, and his phone records suggested that he had continued down dark streets in this like residential area that was away from all the kind of touristy spots. So he is walking down dark streets. Then he walks through a bushland. There's this like square like right here. Like right here, there's a square of like bushland. That's it. Like there's nothing. It's not lit. It's not a park. Nothing. He just walks straight through it. And he continues, right? And then it led him through like more dark streets. Then he gets to more bushland, which is, you know, kind of surrounding the, or like right before the beach. And he gets to the Tallow Beach, south of Byron Bay. So it's strange, right? Then he starts walking along the beach. And at this time, he is still sending and receiving text messages until he sends one last message on WhatsApp to his stepsister shortly before 1 a.m. on June 1st. However, these messages did not indicate like any immediate danger or stress or distress. Sorry, distress, not stress. Well, stress too. So none of the, as I said, like he was texting his friends, he was texting his stepsister. None of these messages indicated that he was in distress, he needed help, or there was something wrong. So the last ping indicated Theo's location to be around the Cape Byron lighthouse area. So the last ping, well, I mean, it was right before, so it's here, right? The lighthouse car park is here, so it's right here, right? So this is the last ping. And that is when his phone stopped emitting a signal. It stopped working. After days of not hearing from Theo, his family called New South Wales police to report him missing. And at the same time, on the same day, on June 6, 2019, the hostel staff also reported Theo missing because, you know, he failed to check out 3 days earlier. So his checkout date was June 3rd. He also left all of his stuff. All of his belongings were still there, and he never picked them up. Was he a passport bro? Maybe he thought he found a hot date and was going for a quick fling. But, I mean, maybe, I guess, like, oh, he could have been if he was... I'm not sure if he was using any, like, dating app. There's no indication of that. Like, I didn't see anything about that in the reports. That he was maybe using, like, I don't know, Tinder or some other dating app, and he was... about to meet someone. Like there was no such indications. He was only texting his friends back home, and he was using Google Maps. That's it. Or friends and the stepsister. And he didn't say anything about, like, he didn't mention anything about like, okay, I'm on my way to meet someone. No. He just, yeah, like he was just saying like, oh yeah, you know, I'm done. I'm gonna go back to the hostel, and then I'm gonna come back home in a few days. That's it. Why would he walk that? Yeah, it's super far. Like, if you think about it, it's not like this could be like, that's not even a straight path. If the path from Cheeky Monkeys to his hostel would take him like 20 minutes to walk, like this like complicated path would take him like an hour or more. Okay, so, well, it took him 2 hours because around 2 hours, because like he left the bar at 11, and then his last message to his stepsister was at like 1 a.m. and then the phone stopped working. So that's it. So yeah, so his parents reported him missing. The staff at the hostel also reported him missing because he failed to check out, and he also left all his stuff, right? Theo's parents flew to Australia to help with the search for their missing son, but days turned into weeks, that turned into months, and there was no sign of Theo. And then exactly a year later, on July 6th, 2019, a baseball cap that resembled the one that Theo was wearing in the last CCTV footage of him walking out of the Cheeky Monkeys bar was found. After this discovery, the official search was called off, and Theo was presumed dead. Because they found it in the lighthouse, like the Cape Byron lighthouse area. So they assumed that, hey, this is a pretty steep cliff. Like, he walked in here in the middle of the night. It was super dark. he might have just plunged to his death and his body was taken by the ocean. One theory suggests, yeah, like as I said, like so this theory suggests that Theo may have accidentally fallen from the cliffs near the lighthouse and into the ocean. You know, given the tricky kind of terrain, the proximity to the water, and also the fact that it was very dark. Another theory suggests that Theo could have encountered foul play. Maybe he encountered someone on the way, like while still in town. And as I said, like, oh, his movements were pretty quick, right? Like he was walking pretty fast. Maybe somewhere in town, like someone was following him and he decided to confuse them. And he was like walking through that bushland to kind of lose them or something, or he was running away. And yeah, and they eventually like got to him anyway. But then it wouldn't make sense that he was still texting his friends, he was still texting his stepsister, and he never texted them like, hey, someone is following me. You know, someone is after me. Someone took his phone. It doesn't seem so. It seems like he was the one that was texting. So, because the friends, you know, and the stepsister, they never said anything about like, oh, he sounded weird in those messages. He, you know, this is not how he texts. Oh, this is not how he calls me. No, like there was no indication that it wasn't him. So there is also the possibility that Theo might have ventured into this bushland or coastal areas, you know, got lost and simply like succumbed to the elements. Like again, like maybe he fell, maybe he hurt himself, maybe he just couldn't find his way back and somehow, yeah, he died in the process. But, you know, like, yeah, I would say like the area might be confusing because it's like bushland and it's forest and yeah, like you might get lost, but you know, it is a pretty popular tourist and vacation. I don't know how this theory was like holding up because it is a pretty popular touristy area. It is a popular touristy beach too. So it would be strange for me, at least to me, it would be strange that he wouldn't have found his way back or, you know, met any other hikers or travelers around. Like if he got to the beach, like he could have just like sat down on the beach, waited until morning, and I'm pretty sure he would have encountered someone. So this theory doesn't really make sense. Like, oh, you know, like it just says like, oh, he got lost and eventually like died of starvation or something. It's just like, no, that's not that big of an area. Like, yeah, it's big, but I wouldn't say it's that far from civilization. Yeah, he would, if you walk, like you would. Yeah, he would eventually like get to the settlements, the city, so it makes no sense. Or had he waited at the beach, again, he would have encountered someone. So the only person that was also later like able to shed a little bit of light on the night of Theo's disappearance was his hostel friend, Antoine, right? Like the guy that we see Theo, you know, hanging out with and buying alcohol with, like in this video. The tall guy is Antoine, right? So they hung out. And Antoine was interviewed and he said this about their night at the bar. He said this, quote, "We went out together after leaving the hostel and we arrived with some other people from the hostel. And then everyone talked with other people. An hour later, he was kicked out of Cheeky Monkeys," end quote. Okay, so this changes the story a little bit. He didn't leave Cheeky Monkeys on his own. He was apparently kicked out. So the problem with the statement, like I have a problem with Antoine that he doesn't really say anything else. Like, why was he kicked out? Can you tell us why? Like, what is going on? So he never specifies like why had Theo ended up being kicked out of the bar. Like, was he too drunk? Did he get into a fight with someone? Like, was he under the influence of something else? Like, it doesn't seem so because other witnesses said that he wasn't drinking that much. He didn't seem drunk and he was completely fine when he left. There is a possibility that someone like spiked his drink with something, you know, which resulted in Theo being like completely disoriented, despite having his phone to check the map, right? Because he was checking Google Maps, but then, yeah, it didn't make sense that it, you know, like Google Maps didn't show him how to get back to the hostel. So maybe, you know, maybe someone spiked his drink and it just at the beginning, it didn't hit until much later. Like, you know, oh, in that CCTV footage, we can't see it because it hadn't hit yet or something. But then it doesn't make sense. Like, why was he kicked out of the Cheeky Monkeys? Like, if it didn't show until much later, it didn't show that he was like drugged or something much later. Or maybe he got into an argument with someone at the bar and someone disliked him enough to harm him. Like, maybe he got into a fight, he got kicked out, and then this person that disliked him, that got into a fight with him, followed him outside. That, you know, again, like, it doesn't seem like there was any footage that shows any suspicious person. It doesn't seem like anyone followed him. It seems like Theo was alone, but who knows? Again, I find the friend Antoine like a little bit suspicious because he never specified. Like, he just throws this statement saying like, oh, he got kicked out of the Cheeky Monkeys, but then he never says like why. And I couldn't find if anyone actually asked him like, why, can you specify? And yeah, this is the only statement that I could find. And yeah, despite the extensive search efforts and investigations, Theo's fate remains unknown and the case remains unsolved to this day. And that is it for today's cases. Was there video and cell proof that the Dutchman was near the hostel or the route Theo took? You mean the Antoine? The friend? I don't know if Antoine was from Belgium. Like, he was... Wait, was he? Oh no, Antoine was from Netherlands. Was he from Netherlands? I'm not sure, because I thought he was French, but maybe I'm wrong. Well, I don't know. That one I didn't find the information, like any information that would indicate like where was Antoine at the time. Like, it seems like, well, I mean, for as far as the police is concerned, and you know the police were concerned, he did stay at the bar. It's not, there's no, I didn't have any information that he left the bar, like, or they saw any like weird movements from Antoine. So yeah. It's like he was whisked away in the wind. Jose, don't start with don't start with dust in the wind. But yeah, you know, like as I said, the only thing that they found really was the hat. And it's weird to me, I have to say, it's weird to me that they would find the hat, the cap, and they're like, yeah, this is the cap from the video. This is possibly, well, they don't know 100% that it was his cap, but it looks like it matches the one from the video. So it's weird to me that they would find this cap in that area and then just call back, just cancel all the search efforts. I guess they investigated that scene, like that area of the land where the cap was found, but why would you stop the search and like why would you presume him dead? You just found the cap, you didn't find the body. But yeah, like the family is still petitioning for the investigation to remain open and you know, continue, and you know, like the police, the New South Wales police, to reinvestigate all the leads, reinvestigate and question again, question the witnesses again. But so far we have no other leads, so this case remains unsolved. And not find it a year before, since they were right? Yeah, that's the strange part too. Like, they never found it like when they were looking for him. They only found it a year later. How does that make sense? Like, you didn't see it at the time. Like, I don't think the cap would have traveled far on its own unless someone helped it, unless someone dropped it there. It's kind of similar to Tiffany's case, like the shoes. The shoes were found like months later, a couple of months later, or weeks or months later, and yeah, and 2 miles from the crime scene, and no one noticed, no one searched, no one like investigated. What the heck? What town was Theo at? Byron Bay. That was Byron Bay in New South Wales in Australia. That was the touristy town where he was, that was the last stop on his trip. Like a year later, a reminder of the murder they got away with. Seriously, like I have no idea. This is super confusing. Like, why? How did you not find this cap before? Like, it was there all the time. It's not that yeah, like it's big. The area is big, but it seems like they had all those volunteers and all those like police officers searching. Like literally there were helicopters from what I saw. There were definitely like canines, like divers. They had divers. I saw some pictures from the search, and yeah, like there were so many officers. How did you not find it a year before? You only find the cap a year later. Like, how? Oh no, sorry. It's not a year later. It's a month later. A month. I'm sorry. It's a month later. Never mind. So it took them a month to find the cap. Okay, it's a little less horrible, but still, a month after? A month after? That's still kind of a lot of time. Like, how did you not find it immediately? Yeah, a month. Sorry. I got confused. But yeah, so a month, okay, maybe, okay, it makes a little more sense, but still, like, a month? That is still a lot of time for one area with so many people, because immediately, mind you, immediately there was like a huge search for Theo with like a lot of people. So a lot of people, a lot of canines, a lot of like helicopters and everything. How? Who knows? Even though, how did they miss it? Yeah, like even though it's a month, how did they miss it? And again, it's just, and they knew, mind you, like this was, and also the cap was literally found close to the area where he was last seen. Well, not last seen, sorry. Close to the area where his phone went kind of dead. So again, that's kind of like smaller area in this big area. So yeah, how did that happen? Okay, that's it. The cases, I'm done with the cases. You guys, thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope it wasn't too chaotic. I know that my notes are sometimes chaotic and the way I talk is sometimes chaotic, but I hope you guys understood the cases and it made sense at least a little bit. I encourage you to look into those cases, like look up more information, because I'm sure I didn't compile all of the information available. There might be something that I missed, something important that I missed. So yeah, I encourage you guys to maybe like watch a documentary or watch other videos on the same cases, or look up other sources. Do you think if he was done in, could his killer have been part of the search team, found the cap, and hid it for a month? I mean, that's possible. That's absolutely possible. Like if the person was involved in the search, it doesn't seem so, because like from what I could tell, like it was mostly just police officers. Like it was his parent, like Theo's parents, yes, and family, but those people were like not there when he disappeared, right? And then the other people volunteers or participants in this search were just police officers, so it doesn't seem so. Well, Antoine is just the only kind of suspicious, so what do you have to say for yourself, Antoine? But yeah. Oh, wait. Thanks, Sona. This was a great stream. I hope you guys found it interesting and educational. Please be careful at all times. Even if you're on vacation, even if you think you're safe, always be careful. Always like watch your back and, don't kind of roam alone in places unfamiliar to you, because you never know. You never know. It's better to stay in a group. What was the last case called? Theo Hayez. Or Hayez. Wait, let me show you the picture of him, the name of the guy. This was the guy. This is the guy. Theo Hayez. That's his name. Okay. And thank you for the stream, Sana. You're welcome. Do you think Antoine was working for someone? I don't think so. He was also there on vacation, and they just like met at the hostel. They were staying at the same hostel, and they were just, yeah, it seems like he was like another backpacker. So he didn't seem suspicious. Like, yeah, the things that he said later, like how he didn't explain that Theo was like kicked out of the bar, and well, he explained that, oh, Theo was kicked out of the bar, but he never specified like why he was kicked out of the bar. That's kind of suspicious. Because if I remember correctly, that cap looks so well kept for being a year dealing with 1 month. Sorry, 1 month. way too well kept. Yeah, so it turns out that it was 1 month, but still, even 1 month out there, like out in the open, this is like, yeah, that's pretty well preserved. Like it doesn't seem like it was like a month out there. It looks pretty like clean. And it's just like, oh, some leaves are like sprinkled on. Yeah. Cheeto Puffs, I've always wanted to stop by for a stream. Hey, that's great. Thank you so much for tuning in when I'm live. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I was going to walk in the woods at night, thinking that's a bad idea. Please don't. I mean, if you are with someone that you really, really trust, don't trust them too much, but no, I'm kidding. Like, if you're gonna walk, in the woods, go take a walk in the woods in the middle of the night. Number one, why? 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 No, don't. Number two, at least take a friend with you. Like, I don't know, just bring a friend with you, or 5 friends with you that you trust and you would, give your life for. But, just stay safe. That's my advice to you. Just stay safe and vigilant and on high alert all the time. Especially if you're walking alone in the woods at night. The police incompetence in the Tiffany case reminded me of the police incompetence in the Abby Stepak case. Oh yeah, I remember that one too. Where they left her car doors and trunk open for days where it rained. Yeah, I remember that one. That was horrible too. Like, what are they doing? Why? I saw you on YouTube ads a few months ago. Hey, that's great. I'm glad that you caught my stream. And here I was going to chill in the woods with this guy in a hockey mask. Please don't. I don't know, but maybe I'm just, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think a guy in a hockey mask in the middle of the woods at night is a trustworthy person. I would be a little bit careful. Like, maybe not, maybe, don't judge the book by its cover, but at the same time, be careful. Incompetent police officers. This is like another episode of like the incompetence of some police officers or, police departments. Okay, that is it for today. You guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. As I said at the beginning of the stream, there's gonna be a true crime stream on Patreon this Friday, Friday 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then there's gonna be the Cryptid Files stream here on YouTube on Sunday, same time. So if you would like to hear, I don't know, I can't speak today. If you would like to hear about another case, this time from Poland, you can tune into my Patreon stream. And then if you would like to hear about the Jersey Devil, terrorizing New Jersey, I guess, then tune into my stream on Sunday, Cryptid Files. Hey, thank you for the stream, Sona. You're welcome. Sona, you should make a series on incompetent police officers. Maybe. I mean, honestly, I don't even have to make it a series that's like true crime. That's the series, true crime streams. That's it. All those like unsolved cases that I've covered, like more often than not, it's like, oh, it was mishandled by the police, or oh, they mishandled the evidence, or they didn't question someone. And here we are today with a case that is still unsolved. Yeah, I get frustrated. I get very angry every time I talk about a case like that. But yeah, thank you so much again. I hope you found the stream informative, and I hope it will, be a cautionary tale of, how to not go into the woods alone at night, and just stay safe. That's it. Stay safe. Always stay safe. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your hexes. Until the next time.